All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up to Empire of the Full Moon today. Obviously, we're doing something a little bit different. I didn't even bust out the green screen because up to this point on this show, we've mostly been talking about the best part of Full Moon, in my opinion, which is their films. The time will come when we get to talking more about their merch, some of their special sets, stuff like that, maybe their box sets, stuff like that. I do want to talk about the subspecies box set that I do have and some other stuff that I've got as well. But today I'm going to be talking about Delirium. What's Delirium, you might ask? Well, not too long ago, I'd have told you it's a magazine released by Full Moon that's all about cult, horror, fantasy, and exploitation films. However, over the past little while, it's become much more than that. It's become not only Delirium Magazine, but according to Delirium Magazine's Facebook page, it also includes Delirium TV and Delirium Home Video. And I'm going to talk about all of those right now, and I'm going to be showing you some stuff. So that's why I didn't do the green screen, so that so I could give you some visual show and tell stuff for this episode. But so actually, I'm going to talk about them right after you like this video and subscribe to the channel. So here's a little intro that will give you a second to do both. We'll be right back. Disclaimer. I hope I don't come off as some kind of advertisement for them, but man, who cares? I feel like, spoiler, I feel like I just enjoy the holy crap out of everything with Full Moon, with Delirium, and so it's like, I don't know, this is the 12 Slaves of Christmas episode, which is basically just a movie that that is a big advertisement. But this is the 12 Slaves of Christmas for Empire of the Full Moon. But okay, so let's start with the magazine. It's currently January 2026, and this, hold on. This, you see that? Ooh, I bumped the dead. This is every issue that they have released. Okay. The first issue was released in February and March of 2014. I believe it was 2014. At the bottom of the table of contents page in issue 1, the magazine is dedicated to Albert Band, and in a little spot that says Full Moon Holdings 2014. So that's where I get my assumption. But so it's a quarterly magazine. Like I said, here's every issue. You can't even see that. But every issue they've released up to this point. I'm going to talk about a few. It's difficult to choose favorites necessarily, but I haven't been subscribed the whole time, but I do have them all. I should have been subscribed the whole time, but I haven't been. I've been subscribed periodically, no pun intended, over the last 12 years. But I'll tell you what, though, I have, however, picked up issues that I was missing with yearly holiday sales from fullmoonhorror.com. There's been a couple of harder to find issues. The first one being issue 3, because even now it's out of print. So I've got these backwards. Hold on a second. I got the whole thing, man. So issue 3, which has the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on the front. This is, can you see that? This is out of print. So I actually had to go and buy this on eBay. So I had to go find that, and thankfully I found a pretty decent price for that one as well. But the other one that was hard to find, it's not out of print, actually. But let me see. Let me grab it for you. And this is a very apt issue that we're going to be talking about today, because especially when I get more into the Full Moon Home Video. But this is issue 16. I might have to do some nudie hider on this one, but this is issue 16. It's because it's the Delirium's retro erotica issue, and like all of the Surrender Cinema titles, it can only be found on Full Moon's sister site, fullmoondirect.com. That's where you can find all the dirty stuff. So it was tough for me to figure out like where I go to find it. I wasn't even aware of fullmoondirect.com, and I had to do some intense Googling. But now you know where to find all the quote-unquote really good dirty stuff, so you're welcome. But I have to say, Delirium is without a doubt my favorite of what I call the big four horror magazines that are available right now. The big four to me include Fangoria, Rue Morgue, Horror Hound, and of course Delirium. I know that there are more horror mags out there, but those that I have, these are the ones that I've been interested the most in the past. And I'll be honest, there are a couple of horror mags that I've completely given up on since the magazine has moved on from the editors-in-chief that I thought really spoke to me. Like, I won't name names, but let's just say that I miss Tony, Rodrigo, and some of those other guys quite a bit, actually. Delirium is pretty different from both Fangoria and Rue Morgue, whereas those magazines keep up on current trends, news, and the cool kid horror stuff, and the culture that goes along with it. Fangoria especially is trying to move into creating a community with their social media, their award shows, their events and stuff like that, but that's good for them, man. It's got to be a tough job to keep a print magazine afloat in this day and age, and I really feel like creating community is a great strategy. But, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That's fine. But that's not why I kind of quit with that magazine. I don't even want to get into it, so I won't. But this leads them to attempt to keep people engaged, talking about the latest horror news, upcoming horror movies and events, and the latest goings on in horror. Rue Morgue is similar. It's great. Good for them. I'm not trying to talk too much crap. That's not all they do. I mean, they'll get into the classics from time to time, but it really seems like their people are trying to create a culture by becoming almost pseudo-celebrities and internet personalities. And I'm not bagging that at all. I'm not bagging on that. It's fine. I enjoy the new films as well as the older films. But, I tend to be more interested in the kind of film that Delirium has to offer. Okay. What does Delirium have to offer, you ask? Well, I'm glad you did. It's got similar things to what the other magazines have. Filmmaker interviews, retrospectives, feature articles. Now, you may think that I'm going to say that they only focus on the older stuff, but that's not necessarily true. In the most recent issue of Delirium, which, by the way, has this beautiful picture of Christopher Lee as Dracula and Carolyn Monroe, and it actually has a lot of good stuff all about Carolyn and interview with her and some hot pics of her, stuff like that. But in this issue, there's an interview with Chad Archibald, the director of It Feeds, and that movie is from 2025, so that's pretty new. However, I can confidently say that the vast majority of the content is focused on the classics, classics, horror classics, exploitation classics, fantasy, stuff like that. For me, this is the stuff. I mean, obviously, if you've watched anything on my YouTube channel, not just Empire of the Full Moon, if you've checked out some Cadaver Lab stuff, you'll see that I'm more interested in classic horror and exploitation. The key phrase being more interested, since I have done some newer flicks, and I do love new horror movies. But the newer flicks that I've done on my channels are like newer full moon features like Attack of the 50-Foot Cam Girl and some other of Full Moon's noir entries. And so they're pretty new. A couple of final things I'll talk about with the magazine is, like I said, the artwork is amazing. The writing is amazing. We have names that we all know of, like Michael Gingold. He is, by the way, he was at one time editor-in-chief for Fangoria, and I loved his tenure as well, but he writes in there. We all know Chris Alexander, who I'll talk about more in depth in a minute. We also get a little kind of final little entry to the magazine from Charles Band every single issue. But from the top down, the writing is excellent. I was going to name all my favorite contributors, but I've just loved everyone, and I don't want to leave anyone out or be a dickhead like that. So just in case they ever watch this video, which they won't, but that's fine. For a minute, I'd like to talk about Chris Alexander, the editor-in-chief of Delirium Magazine specifically. This dude has been working in horror for almost forever, for a very long time. His horror career has made its way through Fangoria as its editor-in-chief. At one point he's a filmmaker, from his avant-garde films such as Parasite Lady and Female Werewolf to directing Necropolis Legion for Full Moon in 2019 for the ill-fated Deadly 10, which COVID put a stop to, which bummed me out, man. I still sometimes visit that old website just to see what could have been. But he's a musician and composer. He's even a provocateur, having participated in the Raging Bull Bull publicity event, which is so funny. You need to Google it if you don't know what it is. Raging Bull, Boll. He actually, that's kind of when Uwe Boll wanted to fight all his worst critics, and so Chris Alexander put on the boxing gloves and went to town on that, but it's hilarious. But today I want to talk about his writing. Not only is he the editor-in-chief in Delirium, but he writes a large share of the articles and does a large share of the interviews for the magazine. He has a very specific way of writing that's, I mean, I love it. It's lush and imaginative, and it kind of paints you a picture in your head. And it's funny because when I've been reading Delirium over the years, I've become a big fan of his writing style. And I just find his way of writing, like I said, very interesting. I read all his articles. I love it. And now, I think the main thing is you can tell he loves the genre. I mean, so not to get personal or anything like that, but I love horror. I can watch everything from the most polished masterpiece to the worst low-budget garbage in existence, and go into every movie wanting to really like it. I think Alexander's the same way. Recently, I was looking on Kindle for something to read, and I came across a book called Art, Trash, Terror by Chris Alexander. It was published in 2024. It's a collection of his essays, reviews, interviews, stuff that he's done over the years, but I devoured the sample on Amazon's Kindle service. So when I got done, I went back and forth on whether I should get the digital paperback copy, which, spoiler, I did get this paperback copy. This is his book. I just barely finished this stuff. And so I haven't even cracked open this. I need to pick up where I left off with that, with the sample that Amazon gave to me. But I bring this up specifically about this book and Alexander to illustrate just how much I enjoy his writing, and it runs through all of Delirium Magazine. And I before I get off the magazine, I wanted to talk to you about a kind of a fun thing that I got. So I have a friend, just Julia. Thank you so much for this. She got me an issue of this Delirium where it had, Roger Corman and a bunch of other people that signed it, but Roger Corman's the big one. So I really enjoy this one, thanks to her. But I just kind of want to show this off. It's got a bunch of people. Let's see, we got Mindy Robinson, Charles Band, and Charles Band's great. I just have Charles Band's autograph on like 18,000 things in this house, so that's good enough. But I've got let's see, Tiffany Shepis, Rolf Kanefsky, who I need to look up who that is. I hope that's not irritating that I don't know who it is off the top of my head. But anyway, so that's cool. That's just a little show-off piece. But like I said, the magazine isn't all there is to Delirium. If you go to deliriummagazine.com or deliriumhomevideo.com, you'll find that there's a whole Roku channel that's available. It's very similar to the Full Moon Features channel that you'll find at fullmoonfeatures.com. It's just sleazier. I think currently you can only get it on Roku. I'm not sure about everything that's on there because I already subscribe to the Full Moon streaming app, so I don't to the Delirium, at least not yet. But I have like thumbed through it, and it's got a lot of the same stuff, but it focuses more on the Euro sleaze, the exploitation stuff like that. But okay. Finally, I want to talk about Delirium Home Video in their first release. At deliriumhomevideo.com, the description for this company is this. From the creative team behind Delirium Magazine comes Delirium Home Video, a brand new label designed to bring some of the silver screen's strangest and sexiest cinema to your ever-expanding collection. Carefully curated by Delirium's own editor-in-chief, Delirium Home Video's unique library will explore both hard and softcore erotica, bizarre and bloody European exploitation fare, operatic international horror, obscure dark fantasy, and much, much more. With each title presented in stunning HD and packed with all new special features. So Delirium Home Video is part of the OC and Vinegar Syndrome / Melusine family of home video labels. And when I heard this, I got excited, and I read what the first release was going to be. And I'm like, bro, do these guys know me personally? Because this is the type of release that I find is very exciting. The first release from Delirium Home Video is Doriana Gray, directed by who other than Jess Franco. So let's see. And so this is it. Now they have the, I got to use my nudie hider on that. Sorry guys. Well, but so if you go to, you can buy this on You can buy this on Full Moon's site, but you won't get this. You'll just get this. Whereas this special edition with this art, you can find it on mailyou'seen.com. It's still there, at least now it is, but I don't know, but there you go. So for those who've been following this channel or anything like that, they know that I am no stranger to Jess Franco. I love his films. So much so that even on this channel, I've already talked about the Jess Franco Full Moon box set that I own on my podcast, The Corpse Cast. Me and Matt talked about the muses of Jess Franco. We did a whole video about Soledad Miranda and Lina Romay. My goodness, how did I mess that up? So when I bought this from Mail You Seen, popped it out, I was naive, man. I was naive to the fact that this was a full-on hardcore version of the movie. And seeing as I've only seen the German language soft cut with English subtitles, by the way, both versions are on this disc. But before, it was kind of shocking. So before I even watched this movie myself, I went through the special features, interviewed Jess Franco, producer Erwin Dietrich, and there's a little bit with Lina Romay as well. It's the kind of interview that I've come to expect, to be like an extra on one of these discs from a boutique label. It's obviously an older interview since Franco and Romay are long past. I went through this twice. I went through the movie twice, first on its own, and secondly with commentary by film historian Troy Howarth. And I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But as far as the look of the transfer is concerned, it didn't blow my top off, but it's much better than the look of the DVD copy that I actually have from a different Franco set that I got through Full Moon Features. Let's see, can you see that? This is part of that part of the collection that I talked about on this channel earlier before. This one is called Marquis de Sade, which is funny because it really doesn't have anything to do with the Marquis de Sade. But then again, I guess it really doesn't have much to do with Dorian Gray. But anyway, so that was the only other time I watched it. But it claims it's uncut, but I do not remember seeing this. I mean, I was shocked when I got the Delirium release and what it had in store for me on that. So as far as the movie itself, it was released in 1976, and if you're familiar with Jess Franco and his films, and you enjoy his brand of Eurosleaze, this will be right up your alley, man. Like I said, this movie starred Lina Romay as Doriana Gray, Monica Swin, Peggy Markoff, Raymond Harvey, and Martine Stedil. It was written and directed by Jess Franco, and this is, duh. I mean, it's funny because it fits right in with the rest of his oeuvre, especially from this time in his filmmaking career. But this is the story of a young lady with a terrible affliction who haunts her beautiful castle day and night. This woman's name is Doriana Gray, and she has a curse bestowed on her by a life that prevents her from feeling any sexual gratification. Despite this, she is constantly walking around her castle and on the land that surrounds it, wearing almost nothing, always on the lookout for her next sexual partner. If she gets no gratification from it, why is she constantly on the hunt? Well, it turns out that she's a bit of a sex vampire, and I didn't mean a sexy vampire, although if she were a vampire, she'd definitely be a sexy one, but she's more of an energy vampire that drains the life of others through their orgasms. Pretty wild, huh? Well, we really haven't even gotten to the weird part yet. She has a twin sister who's been locked up in an asylum for years. They share a psychic link, and whenever Doriana is in the throes of passion, her twin sister, locked in the asylum far away, feels the gratification, and she can't really handle it, and she gets all weird, but in the end, I guess she's happy. But so Doriana has a reporter from an international magazine come by for an interview, a chance for Doriana to tell her story. Things get fun and bizarre, and since it's Jess Franco, we get the ethereal feel, slow motion, zooms, cinematography that both exploits the naughty bits, but also gets the job done. I'll just say that this has the highest PASMS, pubic area shots per minute, of any movie that I've ever seen. Because it's Franco, the locations are lush and beautiful. Lots of this was filmed on the French Riviera, so there's that. The logic for this movie is maybe a little thin, but it's not super deep, so it doesn't really matter anyway. If you're into Franco's brand of Eurosleaze, like I said, you'll have to check this out. But just be warned that this one is graphic. Some things I've never seen before, clawing at your genitals because you're feeling psychic pleasure, is going to have to chalk that up, is the first time for me. But like I said, I watched it twice, one for the film, one for the Troy Howarth commentary, which I really enjoyed. He really knows what's going on, and he gave a lot. It's kind of one of those commentaries where it's just a facts thrown at you. And by the way, film facts, stuff like that. And there's a couple of different kinds of commentaries on discs like that. But this one was great. He knows his stuff. He talked all about this. He loves Franco, and so there you go. But okay, I think that's all I got for this episode. I went on a little too long, I can see, but I'll tell you what, I mean, Full Moon in Charlie Band, his career, it gave me a lot of happiness in my life, and Delirium is no different. Like I said, I might have sounded like an ad for it, but so be it. This is good stuff. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like, comment, let me know how you feel about if you've got any of the issues, what I missed on this, but yeah, visit corpsecollective.com. But until next video, I'll catch you guys later.